What's up, guys? It is me, Mad Samurai 84, here for another eShop deals reviews pickups video. So I'm going to go through all my pickups for May 2021. I've got about 10 games that I've got through the eShop and I've been playing through, and I thought I'd just give a little review of what I thought of the deals I've got. Some are good, some are bad, and I'll give scores based on if I think it was value for money and if it's a good game, and I'll also give my thoughts on what I think it's best to play it on, whether it be handheld or docked. So let's jump into our first game of my pickups. Now, my first pickup was State of Mind. I bought this for £1.59. It was 90% off. Its non-sale price was $15.99. Now, this is like a graphic adventure game set in like a cyberpunk type future setting. The game explores transhumanist themes, which is from my memory, I think it's people who are against the whole robots in a way, if I can remember from the top of my head, but that's it, laymanly. I've seen this game for quite a while. Always been interested in it because I thought the art style was quite interesting. I thought the game itself, it's got a lovely graphical style. It looks a bit like if a PS1 game was made with today's visuals, with the polygon edges. It has quite a nice look on it. The controls are quite simple and easy to use and get around. Wasn't a massive fan of the camera. I felt like the camera was a bit too close and you can't get a proper sense of the surroundings. If it was just a little bit further back, I think it would have just been a little bit better, really. The interesting thing, I find the story quite interesting so far. I've got into a couple of chapters of it, and it's like a slowly opening up. It's not a bad story, but the world setting is actually quite cool, of just how it's been designed and its look. It just looks quite a nice game. But I do feel like playing a game like this on the Switch does feel, I don't know, slightly pointless to me personally, where you if you played it on the PS4, Xbox, you get all the trophies. They do have those achievements in this game, in the menu you can see, but I think that a game like this is not hard to get a platinum trophy, so you would feel like, oh wow, I've got that. Well, you don't really have that here, but still, that's just a small niggle. One things I do have, I have noticed little bugs. I've noticed the icons to interact with things, they have their own reflection. So if you're looking at it and you turn, you can see the reflections of it off surfaces, which is it's a little bit poor. I don't know why they didn't pick that up. So these things are physical objects in the world, which is a bit odd. And also the icons, they are a little bit hazy and blurry when you move the camera. They go a little bit funny, and the general game itself is a little bit of a blurry haze when moving around, even in handheld and in docked. There's a little bit of blurriness and haziness happening throughout the game, which it's not bad, but you would think why why is this these little kind of just minor graphical issues like in the game. And I have just noticed like some little slowdown, like some frame rate drops in certain sections. Usually in like little kind of like cutscenes and stuff. I've just noticed certain things happen, but overall, kind of I am kind of enjoying this game. It is alright. I do like the aesthetic of it. It is nice. So I'm going to give this a game score of I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I don't really want to give it a full. I was thinking of a 7, but I think 6.5 is probably like better, because when I'm looking at the Metacritic scores for the game, it would be sitting on about a 63. So my score kind of is a little bit in line with that. And my value score is going to be a 7 out of 10, because I've got 90% off. The game's pretty alright. It looks nice. It's quite nice. It is a nice setting, so I feel like that 90% off, £1.59 for this game, it's not bad to play. And handheld or docked, I would say both. But I'm leaning a little bit more towards playing it on handheld, really, because it just, notice the graphical bugs a little bit more on when it's docked and you're playing on a big screen. So let's just go with handheld. So that's the first game done. On to the next. My second game of my May pickups is Moto Rush GT. I bought this for 89 pence. It was 93% off. Its non-sale price is £13.49. I don't know about you, but when you're looking through the offers, there's always certain games that you always see on sale. And this is one of the games that I always see that's on sale. So I thought, you know what, why not? What have I got to lose? And well, sometimes there's a reason why certain games are always on sale. Now this is like a arcade kind of bike riding game. Basically you're on a bike and you're on the road, and you've basically just got to do what you've got to do to pass the stage, whether it might be getting close to a certain amount of vehicles, popping a wheelie and getting like a trick, building up your trick timer to X amount, getting to a certain spot within a certain time, don't crash and stuff like that. It is quite simple. The game does have gyro controls, which work pretty well in handheld. I didn't try it on my Pro controller, but when I use it on handheld, it wasn't too bad. But the standard controls work just as well. Graphics and presentation is nice. It's not too bad. It looks alright. Nothing too amazing. Just first person view on the bike. The bike doesn't look too bad, and the rest of the game looks okay, but nothing too great. The gameplay is rather simple. You just dodge and weave between cars and drive to the other side of the road, and just try to build up your points and for more coin and experience points. That's it. But after you've played like the first 5 stages, you feel like you have experienced the whole game. It's kind of a lot of just repeating the same things, and they've got like different areas as you go along. You do a certain amount of stages, which is one area, then you go on to the next, but there's nothing really different between them. It's still more or less the same game. It does get a little bit boring after that, but the bikes look alright. because you can go into the menu, you can look at bikes, and you can buy new bikes. And when you look at them, they've got some nice looking bikes there, but some of them cost so much, and you just, when you kind of play through the game, you just don't know if you can be asked to kind of go through the kind of repetitive gameplay just to unlock them, which is a little bit annoying, because like I'm like, oh, that bike looks nice, how much is it? I'm like, oh god, how much coin I've got? I'm like, oh god, that's going to take me forever. There's a couple of modes. There's a career mode, there's an arcade mode, there's a time trial mode, and there's just like a free roam mode, and they're kind of all basically the same, really. There's no real difference between each mode, really, just really minimal. I think it's the Just Drive mode. That's probably the kind of interesting one, because you just get randomized gear and bike for that mode, so sometimes you don't know what type of bike you're going to get. The time trial mode seems slightly pointless to play, because it's like, when you play, you're like, what is the point of setting a time for this track? Really, there's no point. In the career, there's about like 100 stages, and when you look at it, like, and once you've played the first 5-10, you're like, oh wow, I've got to do this like, so many more times to get to the end. I don't know if I could really drive myself to do that at all. Now, when I look at the Metacritic score for this game, I was actually quite surprised. It's sitting at a 75 for Metacritic. But there's only one review up on it, so there's not like a proper Metacritic score. So there's only one, and that's from Nintendo Enthusiast, and they gave this a 75, so it hasn't got like a proper Metacritic rating as of yet. So after playing it for a bit, at first feel like, oh, this is quite fun, and then after 30 minutes you're like, oh, this is not so fun. I'm going to give a game score of 5 out of 10 for this game, because it's okay, but you're going to find yourself kind of deleting it not long after you've been playing it, just because of its repetitiveness. But I'm going to give it a value score of 6 out of 10, because you get quite a bit of kind of like content. There are quite a lot of stages to get through, and that I'm going to give a value score of 6 out of 10. It isn't bad considering how much I paid, and it was a 93% discount. So it's better, but it's not a great game, and I do really understand why this game is always on sale, because anyone who pays full price for this game is out of their mind. Now, should you be playing it docked or handheld? I'm gonna go for handheld, because I feel like they're probably, because the gyro controls really work really well, and it looks a bit nicer on the smaller screen than on the big screen. So yeah, it's going to be handheld, just because I feel like it probably plays a little bit better, just with that good gyro controls. Mainly, that's going to be my thing I'm going to go with. Otherwise, there's not much difference in the way. It's just that, and they work quite well. It's not too invasive, the gyro controls, but they work well enough where I would pick handheld over docked. Now, my third game is a pretty new title. I just saw it on the offer store. It was Skate City. I bought this for £7.99. It was 32% off. I usually don't kind of download games when it's that small percentage off, but because it was pretty new, it hadn't actually even released when I bought it, so I had to wait a couple of days after purchasing it to actually play it. Its non-sale price is £11.69, so pretty good to already get over 30% off on a brand new game. Now, I feel like this game is a cross between like Ollie Ollie and Skate. and I was actually quite alright. When I started playing it, I was like, this is not bad. It has like superb visuals. It looks great when you're in game, but until you go into the actual, they've got a little skate shop where you can edit your skater and kind of buy new tricks and level up your skater. And then you look at the edit your character, you realise that it's quite a bit ugly. It's not as good looking as you can, and when you're in game, it's all covered up with this haze to make it like visually pleasing, but it actually still looks pretty good, I have to say. When you're skating along in the game, it is very nice. It has an excellent like chill, like hip hop lo-fi soundtrack playing. It's like really nice just to listen to. The game, the controls can be a little bit fiddly, a little bit annoying, because you got to use the left stick and the right stick. The left stick is like your kind of ollie bass tricks, and your right stick is your nollie bass tricks. So it gets a little bit fiddly when you're trying to switch between the two. And I feel like there would be a far easier way to make controls better, make them a bit more fluid. But I'm still undecided whether I prefer the controls via handheld or on a pro controller. I'm not too sure, but maybe I'm slightly leaning towards the pro controller, maybe. But playing through the game, there's 3 stages you have to kind of unlock. Well, first one's unlocked, and next 2 you do have to unlock by completing challenges and getting cash to unlock them. And you have, California, Oslo, and the third one has gone from my mind. But there's plenty of challenges on each one. There's like a free ride with a load of challenges on there. They're like trick-based challenges, and then there's other ones where it could be score-based, a race, get away from a cop, do tricks within a certain area, and they can be rather challenging when you're trying to get all 3 stars, and trying to master the tricks as well. Can get a little bit fiddly as well, can be a bit hard, but it is fun. I do have to say, it is a shame that there's only 3 cities in this game. I would like to probably like 1 more at least, just to give a little bit more content, but I have been really enjoying this game. It's quite fun. You can just jump in, play it for a bit, and jump out, and it is quite nice. When I look at the Metacritic score for this, it's sitting at a 70, which seems about reasonable, I think. So I'm going to give a game score of a 7.5 out of 10, because I'm quite enjoying this game, and I will carry on playing it. I'm going to give it a value score of 7 out of 10. Even though I've got a 30% discount, I do like to get bigger discounts, but I feel like it's a pretty good value for what I've got. And I feel like if there was an extra kind of extra stage, I think that value would probably be a bit more of an 8 out of 10, but I'm going to stick with 7 out of 10. Now, do I prefer it handheld or docked? Or I'm not sure. I kind of like it in both, but I'm leaning more towards handheld. I'm not sure whether I felt comfortable more with. I liked it more visually on handheld, but I think I like the controls more on the Pro controller. So I'm a bit caught in between. So I'm going to say both. From handheld and docked, it's best to play this game. You can play it either, which is good. So anyway, that's Skate City. Let's move on to the next. Now, my 4th game for the month was Little Racer. I just saw this and thought, oh, you know what? Why not? I bought this for 89 pence. It was 90% off. Its non-sale price is £8.99. Now this game is basically just a racing game, but it's a bit like Scalextrics, if you know what that is. But it's not as fun or nostalgic as Scalextrics. You definitely can't speed around corners and like it. It doesn't feel as fun, and because when you go too fast around a corner, Scalextrics, you go flying off. This, you just make some weird tumble off the course, and it's more annoying than fun. But basically, you just got to speed around the track, get around the corners without crashing, and dodge hazards, and try and win the race. There's plenty of levels to play. There's basically the career mode, and there's basically like the challenge mode, really. There's a lot of courses. Is quite and there's some really crazy courses. And I think on the career I got to the 15th stage, and I think on the challenge, I think I made near 20, and just some of them are just absolutely chaotic. Really, like, oh my god. But there's no real sense. I don't get a real sense of progression in this game. Like all the 100 challenge levels are unlocked from the beginning, so you can just go into them. Really, you can just go in, back there, and the campaign and challenge do feel very similar in a way, even though the challenge is a bit more crazy. So it has very interesting track design, because some of the tracks are absolutely chaotic. They are crazy, and quite nice to look at. The car models look okay, nothing too great, but the game itself does feel rather repaired after the first 30 minutes, really, and you kind of do wonder, like, oh, do I want to carry on with this? Now, Metacritic, it's got a 50 on Metacritic, and it's only one review up, and that's by a Switch player, so that's got a 50. I don't think many people have really liked this game, but I didn't really like this game either. It was a little bit fun to start off with, but it did get very tedious and a bit like, oh god. So my game score, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, but I'm going to give it a value score of 5.5 out of 10, because you get a lot of crazy courses, and for 90% off, it's not that bad, and you can play up to 4 players locally. So if you've got some friends and you want to play, then it may be a little bit more fun playing with friends than on your own. Now, docked or handheld, I'm going to say handheld, just so you don't have to ruin your eyes on the big screen just watching it, because it didn't look that pretty or that nice to be playing it on the big screen in dock mode. So I'm just going to it's better staying on a small screen, so handheld for this game. Now, my 5th game for May was Tools Up. I bought this for $4.49. It was 75% off. Its non-sale price is $17.99. Basically, this is a decorating version of Overcooked in a way. It's basically you go into an apartment and you have to redecorate certain rooms as quick as possible, whether that can be taking off the wallpaper and putting new paint on, laying carpet down, laying tiles down, and I've had a lot of fun with this game. Really enjoyed it. It's simple and easy to get a grip with the controls and the gameplay. You kind of get it quite quickly. The gameplay is just fun and enjoyable. There are about 30 levels. They start off quite easy, but then some difficulty does come in later levels, but it's nothing too challenging. You just have to do certain tasks in the right order. You have to just really you will probably play fail. If you're trying to go for all the stars, you will fail, and you will redo it, but you will kind of learn, alright, I need to do this and do that first, and as you go on, you get better at the levels. So it is fun. But there is a few things I would change about this game. The main thing is it needs a dash button. It really does, because you just waddle about. It would be nice to have a little kind of dash button, whether it's for a couple of seconds or whatever, and being able to look around the level without holding the blueprint, because you hold the blueprint and then you can move the camera around. I would prefer more of being able to move the camera. Is a little bit tedious, having to constantly get the blueprint to see if you've missed a wall. But it's really enjoyable in single player, and I haven't played multiplayer, but I can see it being a lot of fun in multiplayer. You have all these little characters you can choose and unlock, and you can kind of like customize them color wise and different outfits. So it's very fun. I've really enjoyed this game. This is one I have spent quite a bit of time playing. So that's why I'm quite interested to see its Metacritic score is 62, which I was a bit like, oh really? Like, that seems a bit low to me, because I've really enjoyed this game so much. Like, it looks visually nice, plays well, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm going to give a game score of 7.5 out of 10 for this game, because I feel like it's a pretty damn solid game. It is a bit like a paint decorating version of Overcooked in a way. Its value score, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. It's quite a bit of value on this. It's nice and fun to play. Now, handheld or docked, I'm going to say both. It looks great on both, and it kind of controls perfect handheld or with a pro controller. So I'm not really going to kind of say one or the other, because I've enjoyed playing it both ways. Now, my 6th pickup was The Inner World. I bought this for 99 pence. It was 90% off. Its non-sale price was £9.99. Basically, this is a click and adventure game. I've seen it around, and I thought it always looked a bit interesting. It has an interesting fantasy setting. It just, like, the whole kind of story and the setting of this game is rather quite it is very interesting, and it's a little bit out there. It has a great art style, and the animations are just excellent. The voice acting is great. It's got a great script, and it's got plenty of like funny dialogue throughout the game. It's really fun, but an annoying thing is no touchscreen controls, which I would always think for point and click adventures. On handheld, you should always have some sort of touchscreen. I don't understand games that don't have that. The controls feel like a mess and a little bit confusing. They're rather clunky when playing the game, when you're trying to interact with certain people, certain objects. It isn't that smooth of a ride, but you do kind of work it out. But they could have made that so much more better in my eyes, because trying to interact with someone or something feels like a real chore, having to cycle through the possible interactions and then go, alright, that's the one, bang, that's what I want. And but if you get stuck in the game, there is a help menu which is really good, and if you want a little hint, you can just have a little hint. but it does give you the option to get more, to tell you if you're really unsure of what you got to do or where. You can just get all these hints, so you can basically just tells you just do this, which is quite nice, because you know what, sometimes with these games you do get a little bit stuck, and it just gives you a nice way of kind of progressing through the game so you can enjoy it. But I think this game might be interesting enough, because I did see that there is a sequel and that was on sale, but I thought I'll do this one first and play through it, see if I like it. But I'm kind of really enjoying the story, even though the controls aren't that great. So, but it's interesting enough that I might look into the sequel when that comes on sale again, and hopefully it doesn't have the same control problems. Fingers crossed. When I look at the Metacritic score for this, it got a 60, so not too great, not terrible, but a little bit low down there. So, but I've been enjoying this game, you know, even though the controls are a little bit fiddly and there's no touchscreen. I've enjoyed it, so I'm going to give a game score of 7 out of 10, because you know, I am quite enjoying it. It's got a good story, funny script, great dialogue. It's very fun. The value score, I'm going to give a 7.5 out of 10. 99p for a very fun game like this. I have chuckled quite a lot when playing through it, so I feel like it's got a nice bit of content in this game. Very enjoyable. Handheld or docked. I preferred playing it on handheld, really. I felt it a bit more kind of absorbed when playing it handheld than on the big screen. I prefer it, really. I don't know about you, but when you're playing this type of game, you want to feel close to it, and I didn't feel as connected with it when playing it docked and playing it on a Pro controller. So handheld all the way for this. Now, my next pickup was Irony Curtain from Matryoshka with Love. I think I've mispronounced that. Anyway, I bought it for £1.79. It was 90% off. Its non-sale price was $17.99. This is another point-and-click adventure, and also, guess what? This game still doesn't have touchscreen controls. But unlike the previous point-and-click game, the controls work perfectly. So I'm not too fussed about the touchscreen for this, even though I feel like it would have been much better with it. But the actual controls flow better, and it's just a bit more easier to interact with the world. So I've had a lot more enjoyment with this game because of the controls, but also you know, it has a lovely comic style visuals. It has a really enjoyable and fun story on there, and it has been written pretty well. You know, the voice acting is topped, and this, you know, the script feels like really well crafted, and it is quite challenging. And also, there's another thing here where you use a phone for a helpline where you can basically just get help tips, which is another nice thing to get. So if you get stuck, you just go to this phone, you dial a certain number, and bang, you speak to someone, and they'll kind of help you or tell you what you need to do. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with this game. Definitely going to be playing it through to the end. Its Metacritic score is 69. I thought it would be probably slightly higher, but you know, everyone's different of what they like. But I've really enjoyed this game. It's visually pleasing. It controls nicely. I had a lot of fun with this, so I'm going to give a game score of 8 out of 10. Because you know, I think it's a really good game. I'm going to give a value score of 8 out of 10 as well. Because I feel like, you know, what I've paid for it and the enjoyment I've got out of it, I feel like, yeah, that's a pretty, I think that's about the right score for it. Now, handheld or docked, for this one I'm going to say both, because the controls are pretty damn good for this game and it looks great. Handheld or docked, I can't really say one or the other because it plays well on both. So yeah, that's number 7 for May. Now my next game is Reason Casual Puzzle. I bought this for 17p. It was 80% off. Its non-sale price was 99p. Basically this game is like a simple puzzle game where you have to put boxes on the glowing squares, so you have to move them around without pushing them off the side, really. It's when a game is this cheap, you have to wonder why, even without a discount, really. Like is no one buying this game for 99p? Is there a reason? I'm not sure, but there is, because it's not that great. Controls, when you're playing with analog, it feels like you kind of go all over the place, really, and I feel like it's really more easier to push the boxes off the side and do a wrong move with it. So when I've been playing it, I've been using the D-pad. I feel like you get better precision playing this game with it, and after 5 levels you do feel like you're wasting your time, where you could be playing something more entertaining. The graphics are simple at best. The game itself does start off quite easy, and the puzzles do get more challenging as they go on. So it is, it does have a bit of challenge to it, but it's a game that you don't really want to. You really aren't up for the challenge, really. Playing it, you just kind of play it for a bit and you go, alright, I'm going to delete this now, and that's what I will do. When I look at its Metacritic score, it's got a 60. There's only one review up, which is by Switch Player. So I don't know, they must have been playing something different from me. So because I'm going to give a game score of 2 out of 10 for this game, because yeah, it's not fun to play. I'm going to give a value score of 3 out of 10, because there is quite a bit of challenge here. There's quite a bit of levels to do, but even I feel like I'm kind of being too nice for this. But I'm going to stick with 3 out of 10. Now, handheld or docked, I'm going to say neither, because you shouldn't put it on your Switch, so you shouldn't be playing it. Stay clear of Reason Casual Puzzle, because it's just not worth spending the money on. Now we are on number 9 pickup, and that is B.A. Walker. I bought this for 79p at 90% off. Its non-sale price was $7.99. Basically, this game is a side-scrolling shooter that takes. It looks like it takes inspiration from Star Wars: Return of the Jedi's Battle on Endor, and you're on the Empire's ATST like vehicle, and you have to kill. They call them like the savages of a very green planet that look a bit like Ewoks. Now, at first glance, you think that game sounds fun, but when you start the game, where you actually move your walker, you suddenly go, and there's some horrible controls in this game. Really, you have to kind of constantly press different buttons to walk, but it's alright. Disaster is averted, as you find out that for some reason that there is another option. You can either have it in manual walking or automatic, when you can just press left. or right to move back and forth. There's none of this having to use a button for each step, which is just horrible. So 99.99% of the time you will have it in automatic walk mode. It's just horrendous when using it in manual walk mode. The game graphics look okay. Your actual machine, your walker, I think looks great. Very well designed. That's the best looking thing in the game. But the rest of the game is kind of just looks okay, really. What I didn't like in the graphical department is a very bad looking comic animated cutscenes with the commanders giving you orders, like in the pop-ups. It just doesn't look good. The enemies look alright, basically, because you're just going from one end to another, and you get attacked by enemies, and you have to basically just kill them and get to the end. Really, the gameplay's fine, but the initial fun does disappear after the first couple of fights. Once you kill a section of enemies, it does sometimes feel like forever before you come across the next set. Really, you're just walking. Oh, here's some more. I'll kill them. Alright, I've overheated. I have to wait. I have to cool down my gun so I can start firing again. But the good thing is you can walk and squash your enemies. That is a good thing. But in the end, this is pretty boring and really isn't worth getting on any sale whatsoever. I was a bit kind of, when I first looked at this game, I thought, oh, that looks quite fun. But I should have really looked at a video or looked more into it, because I would have not gone for this game. When I look at its Metacritic score, it's sitting at a 58. But it isn't a full proper Metacritic score, because there's only 3 reviews. There's Pure Nintendo, which gave it an 80, which is crazy. Gaming Nexus gave it a 55, and Worth Playing is 40. Never heard of any of them, but someone actually did like this game. Don't know why. But I'm going to give this a game score of a 3.5 out of 10. And I'm only giving it that kind of little bit more than our previous pickup, just because of your mech, your walker looks pretty damn cool. I'm going to give a value score of 4 out of 10 for this game, because I did get a bit of discount for it, and just to jump into a walker and have fun. I think there's quite a bit of a little bit of content in here. You get to upgrade your walker, add this, add that. You get new weapons and stuff, but overall, not a great game, not a fun game. Now, handheld or docks. I'm going to say docked. The controls are a bit better with a Pro Pad, because I do find when you're aiming, when I was using the handheld, my thumb was kind of, I felt like it was aching just to aim, really. But using a Pro controller is much better when aiming to take out the enemy, so I'm going to stick with a docked as being my preferred way to play this game, if you do play it. Now we are on to the last pickup for May, and that is Figment. I bought this for £2.51 at 86% off. Its non-sale price is $17.99. Basically, Figment is like an action adventure game set in the recess of the human mind. Now, really have been enjoying this game. It's got easy to get to grips with the controls. It's got great visuals. It's got an excellent level design. The level design is really good and it looks wonderful. They've done such a good job. The voice acting is really good, but sometimes it seems a little bit off with the audio. Like, just it's not like off, like it's not right. Sometimes it feels like the quality, there's like too much bass in some of the audio recordings, or maybe it's just the headphones I was using. I'm not too sure, but it's but when you just ignore that, the rest of it is really good. It's an interesting story concept, this game, because basically you're in the mind of someone who's had like some traumatic car crash, and it's like it managed to cause some like stir in the psyche of like the victim in their mind, and you are in their mind and kind of trying to sort themselves out in a way. So it is quite interesting, and this is going to be a game I'm going to be playing through to the end, because I've been really enjoying being in this world. It's really nice. I did experience a crash with this game where I was in a loading screen and it kind of locked up, and yeah, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't quit the game or anything, so I had to kind of restart the game itself, and yeah, it was a bit annoying. And I had noticed some dodgy collision with a moving platform, but it's only been one when I was you go onto it and you kind of fall into it, and then when it moves you're able to kind of get off it. It was a little bit odd, but you know, a really good game. I have been really enjoying this game. It's really fun. When I look at its Metacritic, it's sitting at a 75 on Metacritic, a 7.8 with the user rating. So you know, it's scored pretty well. But I'm going to give a game score of 8.5 out of 10, because I really like this game. I really like the story, the visuals. I really enjoy everything about this game. There's not really much I can say which I don't like. I'm going to give a value score of 8 out of 10 for this game. I feel like it's a lot of value for it. Very for what I paid. I feel like it's a great pickup. I'm really enjoying it. Now, handheld or docked, this is going to be another title where I say both. It's great playing it handheld and docked. It looks great. You know, playing it with a pro controller is really good. Playing it on handheld is great. So I'm not really going to say it's better on one, because it plays really well and looks really good on both. So there we have it. That is my deals that I got in May. That's all my pickups. We had 10 games. There's some good ones, there were some okay ones, and there were some bad ones. In total I spent £22.10. Total non-sale price was £123.10. So in total I saved £101. It was about I think I got about about 82% off. So overall I saved quite a bit of money. Bit of a shame, there were some duds, but you never know when you're going through some of these games on the eShop offers page. You know, some kind of look all right, and you go, all right, you know what, I'm going to give that a go, and it's a right old dud. Because when you look at the price, you're like, oh wow, yeah, that's really cheap. Sometimes cheap does not mean good, but sometimes it does. Sometimes you can get a really good deal on a really good game, and I feel like I've got some really good games, and some I am going to play till the end, and I did get some trash, which I'm going to delete straight after I finish this video, never to be seen on my Switch ever again. So I advise you to stay clear of those games by a mile. Anyway, that is this month's video done. I'm probably not going to do a June video. I'm just going to try buckle down and finish all the games that I've picked up over the last few months, and probably do a summer pickup. I've just pick up some random ones and play through them, and just kind of just do a collection over the summer of like 10 or so games I've picked up through the eShop deals, or maybe more, who knows. It depends if there's any good deals come about. Anyway, please like and subscribe to the channel, guys, and let me know what deals you've picked up, or if you've picked up any of the games I've got, and what are your thoughts on them. Did you like them? Did you not like them? Let me know. Let's have a little discussion. Anyway, guys, until next time, take care, look after yourselves, and I shall see you soon. Bye.